Good morning to everyone. Pleasure to be at the Mission Society once again. It's an exciting day, a lot of good news today. Today, don't forget, statewide, we go to walk-in, no appointments for 60-year-old plus. We want to maximize the vaccines for people who are older. They're most at risk for the COVID if they get it, for potential bad consequences. So walk in for 60 plus, and we're excited about that. Let me give you a quick update on the numbers on COVID for today, and then I'll acknowledge our guests who are here. Positivity rate in the state of New York today, 2.03%. That's very low. That's very good news. Lowest positivity rate since November 5th, lower than the rate we had yesterday, so that's headed in the right direction. 3,300 people hospitalized. That's down. The number of people in ICU is down. The number of people intubated is down. By region across the state, which I say 3 times a week, but it is something that has to pay attention. The variety, the variation, the range of positivity across the state is something that people have to take seriously. We have some parts of the state with 4 times the positivity of other parts of the state. How can that be? It's the same state, same message, same resources. But Western New York, 4.2%, Finger Lakes, 2.9%, Mid-Hudson, 2.7%, Long Island, 2.5%, New York City, 2.5%, Capital Region, 1.9%, Central New York, 1.5%, Mohawk Valley, 1.5%, North Country, 1.4%, Southern Tier, 0.8%. Congratulations, Southern Tier. Statewide, 2.45%. Here in the city of New York today, Staten Island, 3.3%, highest in the city. Brooklyn, 2.9%, Queens, 2.9%, Bronx, 2.5%, Manhattan, 1.6%. In New York City, 7-day average positivity, 2.5%, which is the lowest since November 26th, and 1,600 patients hospitalized, lowest since December 9th. So people hear that and they say, great news, great news, great news. Yes, but it's not over. Don't get cocky with COVID. It's not over. 45 people died yesterday. So remember, it's not over. But we are headed in the right direction, and we do have the tools to actually make a difference. You're going to hear from some special guests today. After I speak, you'll hear from Radamez Rodriguez, who is the president of the United Bodegas of America. You'll then hear from Paloma Escudero Hernandez, who is the president and CEO of Urban Health and a member of our Vaccine Equity Task Force. She is a legend, what she has done in healthcare in the community, and we're honored to have her. Stuart Applebaum, who's the president of the RWDSU, one of the great progressive labor leaders in the state of New York, and has been extraordinarily helpful all through COVID. We're also joined by Dr. Debbie Almontazer, who's the executive director of the Yemeni American Merchants Association. She is an internationally and nationally noted speaker and expert on diversity. And you'll hear from Assemblywoman Inez Dickens, who is going to close out the show for us. So after I speak, Radamez, Paloma, Stuart, and then Inez. Let me make a couple of points, if I can, today. First, it's a pleasure to be with food workers and bodega owners. The Cuomo family was started in a bodega before we really called them bodegas. My grandfather, my father's father, Andrea Cuomo, I'm named for him, Andrew Cuomo, had a little grocery store in South Jamaica, Queens. That's what he did. That's where my father was born. They lived behind the store. And it was a small neighborhood grocery store slash delicatessen, but it wasn't fancy enough really to be a delicatessen. So it was just a small neighborhood grocery store. The Cuomo family trajectory starts in South Jamaica, Queens, winds up in Hollis, Queens. So the 3 generations made it about 2 miles. But my grandfather and I were very close. He lived just down the block. And I spent a lot of time with him because my father was very busy. And later in his life, my grandfather loved to tell the same story repeatedly, which is what tends to happen. But he told the story about running the store during the Great Depression. That's what he would keep talking about. He'd go back to that. And nobody had any money. So they would come into the store for food, and he would give them what he called credit. He would give them food on credit. And I said, but Grandpa, nobody was working. It was the Depression. There was no credit because they had no work. There was no job. How do you call it credit? Because they couldn't pay back. And he said, I know. But people have to eat. People have to eat. He did it to such an extent that he was on the verge of bankruptcy with his store because he couldn't pay his bills because there was no income that was coming in. What could I do? People had to eat. They had to feed their children. They had to feed their families. To him, it was just an article of faith. You did what you had to do at a time of crisis because it was the right thing to do. Well, it could hurt you. You could have gone bankrupt. It was not a factor. You did the right thing, the right thing. There's no law in the state that says this is the right thing. The right thing you feel here. What could I do? People had to eat. They had to feed families. We hit the COVID crisis. Bodega owners, food workers show up, open the store, run the store. COVID, what are the precautions? We were just speaking backstage. Nobody knew. But you showed up for work. Delivery people showed up and made the deliveries, and people opened their doors, and they exchanged money and credit cards. Why did they do this? Because people had to eat. People had to eat, and it was the right thing to do. But maybe you put yourself in danger. Radamez and all his associates are running a store. People are going in and out. You're stocking shelves. You're talking to people. Why? Why put yourself in this danger? Because it was the right thing to do. Well, who told you you had to do it? Nobody. Nobody. Nobody could order somebody to go to work at that time. People did it because it was the right thing to do. Stuart Applebaum is here. We had the first meeting yesterday of a memorial committee because we want to do a memorial to the heroes of COVID. Heroes of COVID. What was a hero of COVID? I had to get up before the people of the state of New York during COVID. And I had to say 2 things, and it bothers me to this day. First, I had to say, everybody stay home. Close the schools, close the businesses, everything closes. You have to stay home to stay safe. Remote learning, work from your house, keep the kids inside, everybody stays home. Second thing, not you, the essential workers. Oh, you essential workers, you should go to work tomorrow. You nurses, you have to go. You doctors, you have to go. You hospital staff, you have to go. You teacher, you have to go. You bus driver, you have to go. You train operator, you have to go. You policeman, you have to go. You firefighter, you have to go. You delivery worker, you have to go. You bodega operator, we need you to go. Why? Because people have to eat. Because we need you to drive the bus, because the people have to be able to get to the grocery store. We need the delivery people to deliver the foods. You have to go. Well, Governor, how can you say both things? How can you say it's dangerous, stay home, and be safe, but then on the other hand say the essential workers have to show up for work? Why do some people have to put themselves in danger so other people can stay home safe? How's that fair? Is there a law that says that, Governor? No. No, there's no law. I'm asking you, please, essential workers, please go to work, because we need you so others can stay home. And they did. And they did. And they didn't say, I want more money. I want this. They just did the right thing. They're heroes. They're heroes. My grandfather was a hero to me for what he did during the Great Depression. The essential workers are heroes. And the truth is, they were essential every day. They're the hard-working women and men who make this whole place work. It's not the fancy bankers. It's not the fancy lawyers. It's the hard-working, blue-collar women and men who show up every day, the essential workers. They are essential for us all. So we're going to do a memorial to them, to thank them for COVID. And food workers will be part of that. But it's not just to thank them for COVID, and that's what I was trying to explain to Stuart and the Commission. It's to honor the working men and women of the state of New York who do it day in and day out. Not because they get paid a lot of money and they work a lot of hours under dangerous conditions, because they do it out of their honor and their duty and their pride and their tradition, because that's who they are. Many are new immigrants, and they're proud to be here. And they want to do their part to be Americans. God bless America. Now, life is reciprocal. We say thank you to the essential workers, but also show thank you in your actions, not just your words. The door swings both ways in the relationship of life. So we have the vaccine, and we're getting out the vaccine, and it's important that everyone gets the vaccine. But it's important that everybody gets the vaccine equitably and fairly. And just saying we have a vaccine available isn't enough, because people who have a hospital, people who have a doctor, people who have access, they can get that vaccine like this. People who know how to work that internet, they figured out how to get the appointment. But how about if you had to go to work every day? How about if it wasn't that easy for you? Then you're going to see a lag in the vaccine. We see a lag in the vaccine. It's in the numbers. Black community in New York City, 27% of the population. Well, then they should be 27% of the vaccines, right? There are only 19% of the vaccines. That's not fair. Latino community, 28% of the population. Well, then they should be 28% of the vaccines. There are only 24% of the vaccines. Well, that's not fair. That's not equitable. And we have to do something about that. Well, there's vaccine hesitancy. Yes, that's part of it. I'm nervous about a vaccine, who knows? Now, every major medical professional has said it's safe, but hesitancy is part of it. Part of it is people, especially new immigrants, new Americans, new arrivals, are not that quick to go to a government-sponsored facility to get a vaccine. Why? I don't want to go to government and answer a lot of questions. Well, government is here to help. No. Government is not here to help me. I may be undocumented. I'm not so quick to walk in to a government-sponsored facility. Okay. We'll make it easier. We'll bring the vaccine to you. We'll bring the vaccine to you through somebody you trust. We'll bring the vaccine to you through not-for-profit, community-based health providers who you feel comfortable dealing with because you have a relationship with them. Government won't even show up. And we'll make it available to you where you work. We will bring it to the grocery stores where you work to make it easy. And walk up, you don't even need an appointment. We'll bring it to the grocery stores, to the Latino community, to the Black community, through community health providers, and you just walk up and take it. Somos, which is a phenomenal healthcare provider that has done great work all across this state, all across this nation, by the way, is going to be doing grocery stores in Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, and right here at the Mission Society in Harlem. Paloma at Urban Health is going to be doing the Bronx, and they will be making vaccines available for grocery store workers, for delivery workers in the grocery stores on a walk-up basis. We want to make it easy. We want to make sure they're safe. We want to make sure the people they're dealing with are safe. We want to make sure the delivery workers are safe. We want to get those vaccinations up because that's what works for everyone. When do we beat COVID? When we hit herd immunity. That's when we beat COVID. That means when we all together as a community decide that we're going to get this vaccine done and we're going to crush COVID. And that's what we're working on every way possible. It also says we need individuals to participate. I talk to people all day long. They say, well, you know, I'm not sure that I'm worried, I don't like needles, I am strong, I'm a superhero, I'm 27 years old, nothing can hurt me, strong like bull. Yeah, it's not just about you, by the way. It's not just about you. Sometimes in life it's not about you, it's about us. And you have a responsibility as a citizen because you contact me, and then I contact other people. And we are not living on a desert island. It's called New York State. A lot of people in a small place. We all get on a bus, we all get on a train, we all walk down the sidewalk. If I'm infected, I infect you, I infect you, I infect you. I have a responsibility to you, and we have a responsibility to each other. That's community. That's the connection. My father used to say it nice and simple. We're a family. The family of New York, he used to call it. We're an extended family. Just think of family and how you treat a family and how you relate to a family. We're the family of New York. A member of the family has a virus. That member of the family takes precautions to protect the family. And that's what we're saying today. And that is our spirit and our ethic and our relationship. Nosotros somos más que amigos, somos hermanos y hermanos. Somos uno, somos familia. And that's how we act. And with this vaccine, there are no more excuses. No hay excusas. No hay excuses. We are going to bring it to you through your local health provider. You take it for your own safety and the safety of the family. With that, let me please ask Radames Rodriguez to join us. You'll then hear from Paloma Escudero Hernandez, and then Stuart Applebaum, and then our great Assembly member, Inez Dickens, who is here representing Assemblyman Al Taylor and Robert Rodriguez. But before we do that, we're going to show you an advertisement that we are going to run today that helps communicate this message a little bit better than I did, but it lends itself to the No Hay Excusas campaign. Please run the
Hola, neoyorquinos. ¿Saben cómo vamos a vencer por completo al COVID? ¡Vacunándonos! Y la gran noticia es que en el estado de Nueva York ya todos podemos. Si tienes 16 años o más, haz una cita hoy mismo. Las vacunas son seguras, eficaces y gratuitas. Regresa las cosas y las personas que amas. Protégete y protege a tu familia y a tu comunidad. Sé duro al estilo Nueva York. Vacúnate hoy mismo.
Thank you.